Welcome to English Stories Academy. Hi everyone. Today I want to share with you how I mastered English at home. I didn't go to any big courses or travel abroad. I learned step by step, right from my own room. My name is Leo. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a native speaker. I'm just like you, a person who once couldn't speak English at all. And today, I'm going to tell you how I became fluent. Without school, without coaching, without a single person to talk to. I learned English at home, in a small room, with no partner, no class, no guide. Just me, my mistakes, my silence, and one powerful decision. I will master English, no matter what. And in this video, I will tell you everything, every struggle, every method I used. Every single moment I cried, broke down, stood up again, and spoke. I will not give you 10 random tips. I will give you my life. In 6 real parts. So that you sitting there today, shy, scared, maybe even hopeless, can know the truth. You are not broken. You don't need to be born smart. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on English courses. You don't need permission from anyone. You need one thing. A decision that you will never give up. This video is the most honest thing I've ever shared. Because everything I'll tell you, it really happened. I'll show you how I trained my ears before my mouth. How I shadowed English alone like an actor. How I spoke to my mirror, to my pen, to my phone. Because I had no one else. How I created an English world. In a room where no one spoke English but me. And most importantly, I'll show you how I failed again and again. And still found the courage to keep going. This video is for the students who are tired of being silent. This is for the people who freeze during conversations. This is for the millions who understand English, but can't speak it. This is for you. You will not just watch my story. You will feel it. And by the end of this video, I promise, something inside you will change. So stay with me, because your life might be about to take a new direction. Let's begin from the very beginning. Part 1. My breaking point. The day I decided to change. I still remember the exact moment. I was 20 years old. I went for my first real job interview. It was a small customer service job, not a big company, not a big salary, maybe $300 a month. But for me, it was everything. I was nervous but excited. I had studied for the questions. I knew what to say. But then, the interviewer looked at me and asked, "Can you tell me something about yourself?" in English. My throat went dry. My hands started sweating. My brain empty. I opened my mouth, but no sound came out, not even one sentence. Just silence. The interviewer smiled politely. He waited for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Then he said, "It's okay. We'll let you know." I walked out of that office feeling destroyed. Not because I didn't get the job, but because I realized something much worse. I had been learning English for years, but I still couldn't speak. That night, I didn't sleep. I kept replaying that moment, the silence, the failure, the shame. And I asked myself, why can't I speak? Why does my mind know the word so, but my mouth stays frozen? What's wrong with me? And then something snapped inside me. I picked up a notebook, wrote in big capital letters, "I will speak English, no matter what." That night, I made a promise to myself. No more waiting, no more fear, no more silent days. If no one was going to teach me, I would teach myself. If no one would speak to me, I would speak to myself. If the world wouldn't give me a chance, I would create my own. That was the moment I decided. I will master English at home. Even if it takes me years. Even if I look like a fool. Even if I fail 1,000 times. I will speak. Because I was tired of feeling invisible. I was tired of being afraid. And most of all, I was tired of being silent. That was the beginning of my journey. A journey that started in pain, but ended in power. Part 2. I had no teacher, so I became my own. After I wrote that promise in my notebook, I will speak English, no matter what. I felt powerful for a few seconds. But then I realized something. I had no teacher, no one to guide me, no one to correct me, no class, no course, no speaking partner, nothing. Just me. Alone in a small room, a cheap phone, a dusty notebook, and a burning desire inside my chest. And that's when I said to myself, if no one will be my teacher, then I will become my own. But how? I wasn't a language expert. I didn't know any methods. I didn't even know where to begin. So I asked myself a simple question. If I was a baby, how would I learn? And the answer changed my life. Step 1. I trained my ears. First step like a baby. Think about it. Babies don't start by speaking. They start by listening. For months, they don't understand every word, but they hear the rhythm, the sound, the emotion. And then slowly, they start speaking. So I did the same. I stopped worrying about grammar. I stopped trying to memorize rules. Instead, I started training my ears. Every morning, the first thing I did was put on English. In my ears. Not textbooks, not difficult news channels, but real voices. Here's what I listened to. Motivational speeches in slow English. YouTube vlogs of people speaking casually. Podcast clips for beginners. TED Talks, short ones, emotional ones, real stories. And I didn't try to understand everything. That was my mistake in school. This time, I just let the sound enter my brain. I listened while brushing my teeth, while making breakfast, while cleaning, while lying on my bed staring at the ceiling. For 3 weeks, I didn't force myself to speak at all. I just listened, like a baby. And you know what happened? After a few days, I started catching familiar words. I started predicting what they might say next. And most importantly, my ears became comfortable with English. Step 2. I watched, but not like a student. Like an actor. Most people watch English content with subtitles. They read, they pause, they rewind, they stay passive. But I said no. If I want to speak, I must copy people who speak well. So I picked short clips, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and I started shadowing them. That means play a sentence, pause, repeat exactly what the speaker said, match their tone, speed, and motion. Even copy their hand movements or facial expressions. I turned my phone into a private acting coach. I would stand in front of the mirror and say, "Hi, my name is Leo, nice to meet you." You know, I used to be afraid of public speaking. I failed. I struggled, but I didn't give up. At first I sounded terrible. I laughed at myself, but I kept doing it. I treated every video like a script. Not for watching, but for training my mouth. And slowly, the fear in my throat started disappearing. My tongue got used to the sounds. My mouth started moving faster. I stopped hesitating. And this was just the beginning. Step 3. I created my first practice routine. Every day after lunch, I did this. 10 minutes of listening. No subtitles, just audio. 10 minutes of shadowing. Copy one short video. 5 minutes of thinking out loud. Describe what I see around me in English. At night, I wrote 1 page in my notebook. What I learned, how I felt, what I want to improve. No expensive app, no schedule from a teacher, no complicated theory, just one boy in a small room, building himself up like a soldier. Some days I was tired. Some days I felt silly. Some days I repeated the same video 10 times. But every time I opened my mouth, I felt more alive. I wasn't waiting anymore. I was becoming. One day I was listening to a man named Les Brown, a famous motivational speaker, and he said this line: "It's possible, it's possible. As long as someone has done it before, then it's possible for me." I paused, I rewound it, and this time I understood every word, without subtitles, and I repeated it. It's possible, it's possible. As long as someone has done it before, then it's possible for me. I said it again, and again, and again. Tears came into my eyes, because for the first time in my life, I believed it. It's possible. If others can do it, so can I. What I learned in this stage: you don't need a teacher. You need to stop waiting. You need to listen like a baby, speak like an actor, and train like an athlete. Fluency is not a one-time moment. It's the result of hundreds of small private victories no one ever sees. I wasn't fluent yet, but for the first time in my life, I didn't feel stuck. I was moving, I was improving, and I knew if I kept going, I would become unstoppable. Part 3. I couldn't speak, so I forced my mouth. You know what's worse than not knowing English? Knowing it, but not being able to say it. That was me. After weeks of listening, shadowing, copying, I was improving. I understood more. My brain was finally getting familiar with English sounds. But the moment I tried to speak something, freely, on my own, I froze. I stood in front of the mirror. I looked at myself. I tried to say something like, "Today I feel happy because I listened to a podcast." But nothing came out. Or worse, broken sentences came out that made no sense. I forgot words mid-sentence. I switched to my native language by mistake. I panicked and stopped. And every time that happened, a voice in my head whispered, "You're not good enough. You'll never be fluent. You sound stupid. People will laugh at you." That voice almost won. But then something deep inside me said, "Leo, you didn't come this far to stay silent. You made a promise. Now force your mouth. No matter how broken, no matter how awkward, speak." From that day forward, I made a deal with myself. I will speak English every day, even if I speak wrong, even if I feel stupid, even if no one listens, even if I talk to a wall. That's when my real training began. And let me tell you something honestly. This part, learning to open my mouth and speak, was harder than all the listening and reading combined. Because it wasn't just about language anymore. It was about confidence. It was about identity. It was about self-respect. Method 1. Mirror conversations. My first speaking partner was my reflection. I started talking to the mirror like it was a person. Every morning I looked into my eyes and said, "Good morning, Leo. How are you today? What's your plan for the day? How did you sleep? What are you afraid of?" And I answered my own questions in English. At first I felt stupid. I laughed at myself. I paused 100 times. But I didn't stop. Every day I forced my brain to create answers in English. I trained my mouth to move, even if the sentences were broken. And slowly, something magical started to happen. My thoughts began turning into English, automatically. I no longer had to translate in my head. I just spoke, slowly, but naturally. Method 2. Talking to objects. Yes, really. I would look at random things in my room and describe them out loud. This is my phone. It is black. I use it to watch English videos. This is my chair. I sit on it when I practice. These are my shoes. They're a little old, but I like them. Then I made it harder. This phone helps me improve my English every day. This chair is where I sit when I feel defeated and get back up. These shoes have walked with me through every step of this journey. I made English real, connected to my life. I wasn't just speaking English. I was speaking my English. Method 3. I became an actor in my room. I started pretending to be someone else. I pretended I was being interviewed. I pretended I was telling my story on stage. I pretended I was helping someone else learn. I said things like, "My name is Leo. I used to be afraid to speak English, but I practiced alone every day. And now I can express myself freely." I did this again and again. I wasn't acting. I was training. I was reprogramming my brain. Speaking English is not a language skill only. It's a muscle memory game. Your mouth needs to get used to English sounds. Your lips, your tongue, your breath. They all need training, just like going to the gym. You don't build muscles by watching fitness videos. You build them by sweating. Speaking is the same. You build fluency by moving your mouth, by failing in private, by talking to yourself until you stop sounding like a student and start sounding like a person who owns their voice. My secret rule: every day for 15 minutes, no matter how I felt, I had to speak out loud in English. I called it mouth duty. I didn't care what I talked about. I could talk about what I ate, what I watched, what I learned, what I feared, what I dreamed of. But I had to speak. And here's something important. I never waited to feel confident. I spoke while being afraid, and that's why I started to improve. One night, after a full day of listening, reading, and speaking practice, I stood in the mirror and said, "Leo, I'm proud of you. You sound better. You're speaking English now. You're not perfect, but you're speaking." I had never said something like that to myself before. I felt like crying, because I realized I was no longer just learning English. I was becoming someone new. Speaking is not the final step. Speaking is the bridge between fear and fluency. And to build that bridge, you must speak when no one is listening. You must force your mouth when your brain says no. You must talk to the mirror, the wall, the window. Because the truth is, if you can speak to yourself with confidence, you can speak to the world without fear. I didn't have a classroom, but I had a mirror, and that mirror made me fluent. Not in one day, not in 1 week, but in time. My mouth learned what my brain already knew. Part 4. How I built my own English world. Inside my room. Most people think they need to go to an English-speaking country to become fluent. They say things like, "If I lived in the USA or UK, my English would be perfect." But that's not true. Because the truth is, you don't need to live in an English country. You need to build an English world. Wherever you are. I didn't move to another country. I didn't travel. I didn't even leave my room. But I turned that one small room into a complete English environment. And that decision changed everything. Let me now show you exactly how I did it. No expensive tools, no partner, no app. Just powerful methods that anyone can use. Step 1. Turn your phone into a personal English trainer. Your phone is the one device you use every day. So if it's not in English, you're losing progress every single day. Here's what I did to make my phone my personal English coach. A. Change your phone language to English. This sounds small, but it has a big impact. Why? Because every time you open your phone, you read settings, notifications, battery, airplane mode, Wi-Fi, delete, save, update, reminder, alarm. You don't study these words. You just see them every day, and without realizing it, you memorize them. This gives you constant passive vocabulary training every single time you touch your phone. B. Rename your folders and apps in English. Example: pictures, rename to my memories. Work, rename to my daily job. Social, rename to people I talk to. Games, rename to fun and relax. This helps you build emotional vocabulary that connects with real life. When you see English connected to your real world, your brain remembers faster. C. Remove useless distractions. Add English shortcuts. Delete apps that waste time in your native language. Replace them with YouTube channels for English learners, beginner English podcasts, TED Talks app, English Quotes app, English flashcard app. Keep them on your home screen, so every time you open your phone, you're touching English, not escaping from it. Step 2. Label everything in your room. Build object vocabulary. Every single item in your room is a vocabulary opportunity. Don't ignore them. Here's how I did it. A. Use sticky notes or masking tape. Write the English word for each item and stick it on. Mirror, wall, pillow, charging cable, light switch, notebook, window, chair clock, door, shelf. Now, every time you see those items, your brain connects the object with the English word. This creates real-world vocabulary, not textbook vocabulary. You don't just learn the word mirror, you see it every day. You don't just memorize pillow, you touch it. That's how long-term memory works. B. Speak the word when you touch it. Example: you're turning off the light. Say, I'm turning off the light switch. You're opening your door. Say, I'm opening the door. You're picking up your pen. Say, this is my favorite pen. I use it to write English every day. These are called object action phrases. They teach you 3 things at the same time. 1. Vocabulary. 2. Sentence structure. 3. Fluency through daily life. Step 3. Build English zones in your day. Many learners say, I practice English. Sometimes. But that's the problem. Fluency comes from consistency, not randomness. So I created English zones. Fixed times in my day where only English is allowed. Here's how you can do the same. A. Pick 3 small time slots, 15 to 30 minutes each. Examples: morning zone, 7 a.m. to 7:20 a.m. Afternoon zone, 1:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Night zone, 9:30 p.m. 10 p.m. During this time, set your phone to Do Not Disturb. Use only English apps, videos, books. Speak, listen, read, or write. Only in English. No grammar study, no pressure. Just exposure and use. These short zones build mental discipline and slowly turn English into a normal part of your daily life. B. Don't study. Just live in English during those times. Examples: listen to a podcast while folding clothes. Read an English story while drinking tea. Speak aloud about your day while walking around. Watch a short video and repeat after the speaker. Make it feel natural, not study time. Step 4. Use the Describe Everything method. This is one of the most powerful fluency exercises in the world. And you can do it anywhere, anytime. Here's how. A. Describe what you see, hear, or feel. Right now, look around your room and say, there's a black pen on my desk. I can hear a car outside. It's a little cold today. My window is open, I can see some trees. You don't need big grammar. Use simple structures. There is. I see. I hear. I feel. I'm doing. I want to. I like. These sentence starters train your brain to speak naturally. B. Do this out loud, not in your head. Why? Because speaking builds mouth fluency. Don't whisper. Don't think silently. Say it. Move your lips. Speak the sound. That's how your brain connects thinking plus speaking in real time. Step 5. Create English input 24/7, even in the background. If your ears hear more English, your mouth will speak better English. So I use this rule. Silence is a missed opportunity. Here's how you can apply it. Play English YouTube videos while doing dishes. Listen to beginner podcasts while walking. Let TED Talks play while lying on your bed. Watch English vloggers talk about daily life. Use English nature videos while relaxing. Even if you don't focus 100%, your brain is still learning the rhythm, pronunciation, tone, sentence structure, and vocabulary. It's called passive input, and it's incredibly powerful. Step 6. Add English into your personal life. This one is unique, but very effective. Most learners think English is only for school or jobs. But what if you use English for your personal activities? Examples. Start a private journal in English. Make a grocery list in English. Write a to-do list in English. Write your daily goals in English. Write what you're grateful for in English. Leave yourself short voice notes in English. These things are small, but they build massive fluency over time. Because you are not just learning, you're living in English. Part 5. What I did when I felt stuck, and how I unlocked real progress in English. After building my English world inside my room, I expected everything to feel smooth. I had my phone in English. I labeled all my objects. I was speaking to myself. I had time blocks. I was doing everything. But after a few weeks, I felt something strange. Not failure, not fear, but something more dangerous than both. I felt stuck. If you're learning English, there will come a time when you feel like this. I understand more than before, but I still can't speak fast. I know lots of words, but I forget them when I need them. I'm doing everything right, but I don't feel fluent yet. This stage is called the plateau. It's when you improve just enough to notice progress, but not enough to feel confident. And if you're not careful, it's where most learners quit. But not you. Because I'm going to show you how to break through this wall and turn your English into something active, confident, and automatic. Let's get started. Step 1. Upgrade your vocabulary the smart way. Most learners memorize vocabulary lists. But this method fails because you forget 80% of the words in a few days. You don't know how to use them in real life. You only learn the meaning, not the function. Here's how I changed everything. AI. I learned words in word families, not alone. Instead of learning one word, I learned a group of connected words. Example, decide. Decide, verb. I will decide tomorrow. Decision, noun. It was a hard decision. Decisive, adjective. He's very decisive. Indecisive, opposite. I'm indecisive about it. Now I wasn't learning one word. I was learning an entire concept, and this made it easier to understand native speakers in real conversation. B. I only learned words through real example sentences. I stopped writing. Anxious, nekas, worried. Instead, I wrote, I feel anxious before interviews. She looked anxious waiting for her exam results. He gets anxious when speaking in public. This way I learned how to use the word, what sentence structures go with it, what real emotion it connects to. This is called contextual vocabulary learning, and it works better than memorization. See, I kept a word diary, not a notebook. Every day I added 3 to 5 words I found naturally in videos or conversations. And for each word, I wrote one example sentence, one feeling or memory I connect with it. One time I heard it used by someone. It became personal, not academic. That's when the words stopped disappearing from my brain. Step 2. I focused on phrase fluency, not just words. Words are not enough. Fluent people don't speak in vocabulary, they speak in phrases. So I trained myself to think in chunks of language. A. Common sentence starters I mastered. I made a list of phrases and practiced them daily. To be honest, I'm not sure, but I think, in my opinion, it depends on. The reason is because one thing I noticed is, what I'm trying to say is, these sentence starters gave me time to think, without freezing. B. Connectors and transition. Phrases, fluency is not about speed, it's about flow. So I trained myself to use connectors. First of all. Secondly, on the other hand, by the way. As a result. That being said, in conclusion, these helped me speak like a real communicator, not just a student. C. Practice with instant response prompts. To make these phrases natural, I practiced rapid response training. I wrote 30 real questions on flashcards. What do you think about social media? How do you handle stress? Describe your morning routine. I had to respond immediately using 2 to 3 fluent phrases. This method helped me stop thinking too much and start speaking naturally. Step 3. I practiced speaking through real-life scenarios. Instead of waiting for conversations, I created situations in my room. A. Real-world speaking drills I used. I pretended I was in these situations. Job interview, first day at school, at a cafe ordering food, meeting a new friend, talking to a tourist, giving someone directions, explaining my favorite movie, describing my childhood memory. For each, I stood in front of the mirror and spoke freely. Not reading, not repeating, just using my own words. This trained me to speak in different situations, not just general English. B. Explain like a teacher. Method. Every time I learned something new, I pretended I was teaching it. Why? Because when you teach something, you explain it in your own words. This makes the brain organize your thoughts clearly and helps you remember better. Step 4. I started recording myself daily. This was one of the most powerful techniques I ever used. A. I created a private English speaking log. Every night, I recorded myself answering one question. What did I do today? What was the best part of my day? What did I learn? What am I excited about? How do I feel right now? Even 2 minutes was enough. Then the next day, I listened back. I didn't judge, I just observed. Did I pause too much? Did I use fillers like, Did I forget basic words? Was I speaking too fast or too slow? This helped me see my real problems and fix them. B. I created an improvement map. After each week of recordings, I asked myself, what did I do better this week? What words or phrases improved? What did I struggle with again? I made a list of 3 things to keep and 3 things to improve. This became my weekly speaking journal, and it gave me direction. Step 5. I made listening active, not passive. Most people just listen and feel like they're learning. But real fluency comes when listening becomes active training. A. I used the pause and predict technique. While watching English videos, I paused after each sentence. I tried to guess what the speaker would say next. Then I played it and checked. This trained my brain to think in English structure, not just listen passively. B. I used the copy plus speak plus create method. Every time I heard a useful sentence, I followed 3 steps. 1. Copy. Repeat the sentence exactly. I don't think that's a good idea. 2. Speak. Say it in my own voice. I don't think I'll go there. 3. Create. Make 3 new examples. I don't think it'll rain. I don't think she knows. I don't think he wants to come. This built real fluency from listening, not just understanding, but creating. When I felt stuck in my English learning, I didn't stop. I created new methods. I studied my own progress. I spoke more, even when it felt uncomfortable. I listened smarter. I made English my world, and made sure I was not just consuming it, but producing it. That's when fluency finally began to feel real. Not just in my head, but in my mouth. Part 6. The day I realized. I'm fluent now. Let me tell you something no one tells you when you're learning English. Fluency doesn't knock on your door. It doesn't come with music. It doesn't wear a crown. It comes quietly. On a normal day, in the middle of your life. When you least expect it. And when it comes, you don't even notice it. Until suddenly, you do. Let me tell you how it happened to me. The day everything felt ordinary. It was a Tuesday, just a normal day. I woke up late, made some toast, watched a motivational video while brushing my teeth. Then I left for the nearby electronics store. I needed a new charger. My old one had started overheating. The store was small, quiet, nothing special. But what happened inside changed everything. I walked in. A man behind the counter smiled and asked me, "Hey man, how can I help you?" He said it fast, the way native speakers say it. No pauses, no slow down. And guess what? I didn't freeze. I didn't ask him to repeat. I didn't translate anything in my head. I just looked at him and said, "Hey, I'm looking for a Type-C charger. My phone overheats sometimes, so I need something better. Not too expensive, just something safe." He nodded, smiled, and walked me to the shelf. We started talking. Not just about chargers, about phones, brands, batteries, tech reviews, even podcasts. I don't know how long we talked, maybe 6 minutes, maybe more. And then I paid $19. He handed me the bag, and as I was about to leave, he said something I will never forget. The sentence that shook me. "By the way, your English is really good, man. You sound like you've been speaking for years." At first I just smiled, but as I stepped outside, I stopped walking, because those words hit me like lightning. You sound like you've been speaking for years. And I realized. I didn't pause. I didn't stutter. I didn't feel small. I didn't feel like a student trying to survive. I felt fluent, not perfect, but natural, confident, real. I sat on a bench and cried. Yes, I really did. I found a bench under a tree. I sat down, and I cried. Not because I was sad, but because I remembered. All the days I spoke to the mirror. All the times I forgot basic words. All the moments I wanted to give up. All the mornings I listened with a tired heart. All the times I practiced shadowing while the world was busy scrolling on their phones. All the notebooks filled with messy, broken sentences. All the voices in my head saying, "You're not good enough." And now here I was, Having a real conversation, in a real place, with a real person, in real English. And not once did I feel afraid. Fluency is not a magic door. It's a mirror. Fluency doesn't feel like a race you finish. It feels like one quiet step, followed by another, and another, until one day you look behind you and realize how far you've come. That day I learned. You don't become fluent on stage. You become fluent on silent mornings, in messy notebooks, in quiet struggles, in private promises you make to yourself when no one is watching. I thought about quitting, and I'm so glad I didn't. If I had stopped the day I cried in my room, I would have never had this moment. No stranger would have complimented me. I would still be hiding from English. But I didn't stop. I spoke one more sentence. I listened one more time. I practiced one more video. I forced my mouth, even when I hated how I sounded. I chose to believe, even when I had no proof. And that belief built everything. On my way home that day, I opened my notes app, and I wrote this line. Fluency is not the end of my journey. It's the beginning of who I'm becoming. Because English didn't just help me speak, it helped me grow. It gave me a new way to express my thoughts. Confidence in job interviews, power in public speaking, friends from around the world, a new version of myself, one I'm proud of. And I didn't get that from a classroom, or from a language app, or from watching TV. I got it by showing up every day for myself. My message to you: if you're still struggling, if you're still stuck in silence, still afraid of mistakes, still thinking fluency is impossible, don't give up, not today, not now. Because one day, you will speak without thinking. You will explain something. You will help someone. You will order food. You will introduce yourself to someone new. And it will feel like freedom. And you'll remember this video, this moment, this story, this promise. And you'll realize you didn't need permission. You just needed to keep going. If you've stayed with me until now, I want to say something from the deepest part of my heart. Thank you, not just for watching, but for listening, for opening your heart, for being brave enough to believe in change. You didn't have to be here. You could have clicked away. You could have said, I'll never be fluent. You could have given up, but you didn't. And that means you already have the most important quality in the world, the power to continue. If you are investing your time to learn English, let me be honest with you. If you are putting in time, if you are practicing, if you are reading, listening, writing, speaking, even just a little, if you are doing this even when no one claps for you, then please hear this. It's worth it. Every second of it is worth it. Why? Because English is not just a language. It's a life changer. It opens doors. It creates confidence. It gives you new jobs, new opportunities, new people, new thoughts, new dreams. It connects you to the world. And most of all, it connects you to a new version of yourself. The version that's not afraid anymore. The version that speaks without shame. The version that says, I can talk. I belong here. I'm no longer silent. My 5 most favorite tips for every English learner. You've heard my story. Now let me leave you with the 5 most powerful lessons I learned. Lessons I will carry for the rest of my life. Tip 1. Treat English like a habit, not a subject. Don't study English like a school subject. Don't wait for the mood. Don't wait for the perfect time. Make it a daily habit, just like brushing your teeth. Even 15 minutes a day. of real listening, real speaking, real reading is more powerful than studying for 3 hours once a week. Habits create fluency, not hype. Tip 2. Talk alone and be proud of it. Don't wait for someone to talk to. Become your own speaking partner. Speak to yourself. Speak to your phone. Speak to your mirror. The world may laugh at you, but the world laughs before it claps. You will only speak fluently in front of people after you speak fearlessly in front of yourself. Tip 3. Stop translating in your head. Your brain cannot run fast in 2 languages. Train it to think in English. How? By describing things around you in simple English all day long. I'm picking up my bag. I feel tired today, but I'll learn. This is a pen. This is my notebook. These small moments create real fluency. Don't wait for big sentences. Start small, but do it every single day. Tip 4. Use what you love. Don't learn English from boring things. Use your passion. Love movies? Watch them with subtitles. Love music? Print out the lyrics and shadow them. Love motivation? Listen to speeches and repeat them. When you learn through something you love, you remember faster, you enjoy more, you stay longer. Fluency comes from emotion, not pressure. Tip 5. Be kind to yourself, but never soft. Some days you'll mess up, you'll forget, you'll feel tired, you'll feel like a failure. On those days, don't punish yourself, but don't go easy either. Tell yourself, today I'll do just 5 minutes. I'll read 1 paragraph. I'll repeat 1 sentence. I'll speak 1 thought out loud. Because when you speak even on the days you don't feel like it, that's when English becomes part of your character, not just your skill. If there's one thing I know after this journey, it's this. You don't need perfect grammar to change your life. You need courage. You need consistency. You need one promise to yourself, that you will not quit. And I believe in you, because I was you. A boy in a room, with a notebook, with a dream, with a broken voice, and a burning hope. And that was enough. It's enough for you too. Wherever you are in the world, whatever level you are at, whatever fear you carry inside you, I want you to remember this. Your English journey is not a race. It's a relationship. Treat it with love, with effort, with honesty. And it will give you more than just language. It will give you power. It will give you freedom. It will give you a voice you never thought you had. So don't stop. Your fluency is waiting for you, not in a classroom, but in your own room, in your next sentence, in your next word, in your decision to keep going. I'm proud of you, and I'll see you in English. Keep going. Keep growing. And one day, you'll whisper to yourself, I made it. And it was worth it. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel.